In the last episode of our DOF Almeria save, we were busy scheming away, planning for our second season at the club. Well, since then, I've been pretty busy beavering away, doing transfer business. It's the thing that I enjoy doing the most, the thing that some would say I do best. Others would disagree, and I'm sure there's going to be some of that in the comments of today's video because I've done a lot of transfers. Plenty in, plenty going out as well, and I am interested to see what you think of them. I'm very interested to see what your opinions are going to be of this transfer business. I think it's really good. I think it sets us up well for a second season at the club with our head coach, Idager Johnson, in charge. Can he do as well as last year, qualify for Europe? Can he go one better? Can we go for that Champions League? That's the aim that I've put in place. And there's one really big new arrival, which I've definitely spoiled loads of times in the thumbnail and on Twitter, but I'm really excited about it. Shall I show you who that is? Let's get into it. Hello, he's here and he's perfect. Welcome to Almeria, Matthew Colon, the worst kept secret. But what a player we have on our hands right now. The goalkeeper that we've been chasing, trying to sign for as a DOF since our time at Spurs. He would have been a great signing for Spurs, but we've managed to get him at Almeria. Now, I've brought him in for a fair amount of money. It was that deal that I showed you at the end of last episode. I ended up deciding that, yeah, I wanted to do it. It's £40 million. It could rise to £68 million after, like, 50 games and in all of those installments and everything. It's a lot of money. I'm going to hold my hands up and say, yes, I know it's a lot of money, but I think genuinely this guy is, if not already, he's definitely going to be the best goalkeeper on the game. And if we can sign him, I think we absolutely have to go ahead and do that. Now, I know there's going to be some comments, and there was in the last video when we were talking about signing him, that were saying things like, is it realistic to go and get him? And I've tried to rationalize it in my brain, and I think it sort of is. I can get behind the storyline and the narrative of why this is something that could happen in the real world. It's mainly because, and let me explain it to you, and I like to rationalize these things. I like to have these conversations. Thank you for those comments. I do genuinely welcome them. If you think, is that realistic? Talk to me. Let's chat about it, because I do try to do things that I think are within the realms of possibility, but also are good content. I think signing Colon is good content. And also, it is a game at the end of the day as well, isn't it? So we need to talk about all of these things together and come to a bit of an agreement of why we're choosing to do things. I've chosen to sign Colon because we're Almeria. We've got this big backing from our Saudi owners, so there is money behind us in the club somewhere. They've come in and they're going to try and build the team. He's really young and he's coming from Freiburg. Freiburg finished where in the Bundesliga last season? Should we check it, in fact? Because they're not a big club, and I think this is really important in this. They finished 10th in the Bundesliga last year. I think that's significant because actually, would he make the move now as like a stepping stone move, potentially, hopefully not for us, to a Europa League club? I think he would. Would other teams, big teams, look at him and think it's a risk to spend that money on a goalkeeper that's really young? I think they would. I think we are the perfect place that if we can afford it, we're almost like a really good stepping stone for him. And I think that's the way I've rationalized it anyway. Let me know what you think of it in the comments down below, as well as the fact that he's just brilliant, and we've tracked him for so long that I think it works well with the narrative, the storyline of this save. I've given him a face as well, by the way. I've been using Midjourney to come up with some AI-generated faces, and I think they look fantastic, way better than some of the ones, and it adds a little bit to his character. I really like him. Here he is in all of his glory. Look at these goalkeeping attributes. Aerial reach 17. He's only 6'1", but he's got great jumping reach and aerial reach, so there is no problems right there as a goalkeeper, and he's got fantastic reflexes, throwing, one-on-ones, kicking. First touch maybe lets him down as the only thing, but first touch is the ability to control it when it's passed into feet. Do we do a lot of that? I mean, I guess we gegenpress. We did do a bit of vertical tiki-taka. I said tiki-taka again. I did that last time. Maybe some type of Freudian slip. I'm not sure. Anyway, when the tiki-taka was a thing, maybe he would do a little bit, but that's going to be up to Good Johnson, isn't it, to manage his first touch. But everything else, at 21 years old, with more potential to grow, we have got, I think, who's going to be the best goalkeeper on the game right here, Matthew Colon. And that signifies really the main bit of business that we've done this summer. And I'm going to show you all of that business in today's video. I'm going to talk you through all of the players that I've signed, all of the outgoings, because there's been a bit of a transfer plan from me. I've gone a little bit more DOF how can I frame this? Strategy. I've tried to have a bit of strategy for the club. Almost a bit Moneyball, but without all of the stats involved in it. But trying to sign young players that we can develop and then maybe sell for profits later down the line, or we can develop them. And that's the way that we're going to challenge, because we didn't have a massive budget and then I blew it all on Colon mainly. So that's going to be today's episode, as well as playing our first game of our new season, which is against Malaga away from home. We're going to go and watch this game with our good friend Watching Man to come and show us that game. And I think you're going to be excited for the new season that we're going to go into, because I'm very, very excited and I can't wait to share it with you. If you find it exciting, here's my plug. Please do subscribe to the channel. If you're still here and not subscribed, thank you so much firstly, but please do subscribe to the channel because it'd be really cool to hit some milestones this year. We've got 45k to try and get to, 50k to try and get to. Thank you for all the lovely comments on the last video, by the way. I know I kind of said, if you haven't got anything to say, just say thank you. Thank you everyone who did say thank you. And again, leave me those comments down below. Let me know what you think of my transfer business. So maybe hold off on your comment until you've seen what we've done. Then leave that comment down below. And I guess we should stop stalling. Let's get into this transfer business and I'll show you everything that I've done. Okay then, let's have a look at this transfer history then as we start this second season. There is time left in the window, by the way. With the 13th of August, the first game of this new season, we could go and sign some more players, and we do have a little bit of money as well. £9.5 million left over, and actually, if we go to transfers here, £211,000 in wage budget too, but I'm not going to overdo it. I feel like maybe I did just about overdo it at Spurs. We went big, didn't we? And I feel like I've gone quite big for Almeria already this summer. So I probably won't do a bit more, but maybe if something comes up, there's one position. And what I'm going to do today is I'm going to show you the signings. I'm also going to show you the squad planner as well, because I've organised the squad planner just because I think it's quite a nice way to show you what we've done in terms of depth in the squad and the way that I've tried to strategize this transfer window. Let's go in this. Let's have a look at this transfer window then, as this transfer history, as we spent £101 million this summer. There was a couple more before the window, or before it ticked over. We had Andriy Lucas Johnson. We had the permanent deal for Carretero, and we had Mario Fernandez. Let me show you Mario Fernandez, because he was £1 million, and we found ourselves a pretty good gem, I think, at right back. He's 18, Costa Rican. I'm going to show you how I'm finding these players as well, hopefully in a little bit more detail in today's video. This guy might be a starter, or he's at least going to be a very able deputy for Pozo at right back. £1 million because he's come from a Costa Rican team, Ala Yulense, where he's playing a load of games. At 18, he's played 3 full seasons already in the squad. So, I mean, he's got a lot of football under his belt already, and he looks like he's ready to go into this team, to be completely honest. He is not actually, he's only competent as a right back. He's more of a right wing back, but we play with a right back, so I'm hoping that he can kind of, this will improve hopefully if he gets picked in this position. I hope it doesn't hold him back. Hopefully it won't though. Mario Fernandez then first through the door with those other players there, which were, I mean, this is this season. Let me just show you here. Andriy Lucas Johnson, because he's Ida's son, is going to be our backup striker, and I don't know if we're going to need a backup striker. Hopefully don't, because we've got Carretero to lead the line, and we play with one striker, so it should be fine. And I think he's actually all right as a backup striker. He's got good, I mean, he's got decent physicals, I think, and his finishing's pretty strong. And he's the son of the manager, so hopefully that just does enough anyway. He's come in, and then finally, before the tick over, we had, oh, I've shown you, it's Mario Fernandez there. Let's look at the ones that, was there any outgoings actually? It was just Bilal Touré, which you knew about, I think, beforehand. Let's look at this season then. £101 million spent. Let's go through them one by one with enough detail, hopefully, to explain why I've signed them and their role that they're going to fulfill in this squad, hopefully. Martin Lagari, just the youngster that I managed to find, who I thought is probably worth more than £16,000. He's valued about 3.6. I don't think he's going to be unbelievably good, but he's 16 and he was so cheap coming in from Foligno. He's gone out on loan immediately to Cesena, so we're not going to see him too much. I don't know if we'll see him really ever again. Depends how long we stay here, but maybe has some potential. I'm not quite sure about it. Matthew Colon, we know about this one. I talked about him loads already. He's going to be a legend. He's going to be a USA legend because he's played 37 games for the national team already. He's 21. He's going to be a USA legend and hopefully an Almeria legend as well. Here's a big confirmation then. I don't think we confirmed this in the last episode, but we definitely talked about it. I've gone for it. I've signed Romeo Lavia to come in and play in our midfield. He's going to be a starter. I think the fact that he's 24, it's a great age to sign a midfielder. I think he's a brilliant talent in real life. I think it shows our credentials to bring in somebody who's as good as this. He's at Southampton, where he's played a load of games in there. I really like him in real life, which is why I wanted to bring him in here. We can go and get him. He was interested in us. He wants to come and play Europa League football. Southampton don't have any European football. I think that makes it, again, to rationalise things a little bit. Makes it semi-realistic. He's on big wages, so we can tempt him with that as well. He is going to be, I'm hoping, a really good ball winner in this midfield. I don't know if he's going to be used as a ball winner. It remains to be seen how Idaker Johnson uses him, but I really like him and I think he's going to be good. I've given him the number 6 as well. Lavia is one of the 2 big money signings. In fact, if we just sort this by money, by the fee, it's Colon and Lavia, the money that we spent. 80 million pounds there. With 46 going out, you can see where that money's come from with the transfer budget that we had. Everything else is very much a transfer strategy that I've gone about. I've tried to move out some players that were a little bit older. Players like Jurdy Shelton, who was quite good, but he's 31 and we could get ourselves a transfer fee for him. Benfica paid £5 million to buy him. I thought at 31, if we can replace him with a young teenager, 19-year-old midfielder, I think we're all right. For his place in the squad, which would be as a backup, I think that's the better thing to do with a club like Almeria. And this formed the basis of what I've tried to do over the course of this summer. If we go through some of these then, and just to show you some of the outgoings, after bringing in Colon, I sold Chevalier, who was just all right last year, but I think we actually turned a slight profit on him as well. We sold him for £10 million after signing him for 4.5. So we've turned a bit of a profit. He was our goalkeeper for a really good, strong season in the league last year. And I think we've done all right with that. We're now going to have Colon in our goal, and he is just sensationally good, isn't he? So Chevalier's gone out. Lagare's the loan we saw before. Samu, big one. Not one that I necessarily wanted to do, but when presented with the opportunity, I felt like it was the smart thing to do. If you understand what I mean by that. Porto made a bid for him of around about £20 million. I managed to go back and forth with them, a bit of negotiating. They ended up paying £26 million up front as well, which is important in this. It meant that we could go and buy some of these other players to beef out the squad because a lot of players did leave. Samu's moved on for £26 million. It's, again, a profit from when he first joined the club, and he's come up from the second division and played loads of games. Bit of a club legend, in all honesty, and he's a really good player on FM as well. So I am sad to let him go. They've put him on £100,000 a week. So I've decided with the money, he kind of just had to go. And it was a kind of a similar story with John Pacheco as well, who was 27, or he's 27. He's gone to Celtic for £5 million. Kind of cheap, but I couldn't get any more for him. And I just decided at 27, with some of the players that were available that I'm going to show you now, the young players that we could bring in, to be a backup, because Pacheco was going to be a backup. I've decided, this is an important thing, I've decided that Luis Perez, I don't want to hold him back from starting games. I've given him a face as well, which I think matches him quite nicely. He's played a load at left back. I'm hoping now that Idaker Johnson decides to start him, because this guy is listed as a wonder kid. He's only going to get better, and he looks like a fantastic footballer. And I think we were holding him back by having him behind Pacheco, who wasn't going to get any better, I should say. The Chilean Luis Perez now is hopefully going to be a starting left-sided centre-back. We'll see if that is actually the case, but that's my plan for him anyway, as I'll show you the team and go through what I think and hope the squad is going to look like for this season, and we'll go and watch that game against Malaga as well. So Pacheco's gone out, £5 million. It gave us a decent bit of money to go and spend, and I wanted to spend it on young players that could be squad players, but could develop into starting players later on down the line. Let's go through them one by one. First of all, because there are 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8 of them. 8 of them here. We looked at Lagari, so maybe 7 of them. Bruno Antonacci is the first one. Very similar, actually, to Luis Perez, an Argentinian centre-back with really nice attributes already at 19 years old. Hopefully good potential to improve. He's got a fair few cons. He's cost us from Boca Juniors £7.5 million. Could go to 15 if he plays a load of games in the future. But as a backup now, if you imagine with Perez and now Antonacci, I think we're in a better spot than having Pacheco. Do you see my logic here? He's 19 as well. He's going to get better, and hopefully we're going to make a profit on him too. Even if it goes to 15 million, I think we make a sound profit on him in the future. And he's also, which is a bonus, he's half Italian, which means he's not a non-EU player. We still only have those 3 non-EU players that we can use. We have 3 of them. I've signed loads of other players, and I'll show you my filters as well for finding these players that have that second nationality, which is really useful. Antonacci, hopefully you like him. Maybe one day he'll get himself a new face. he's going to be hopefully a backup centre-back. He might even get in the team. It remains to be seen, doesn't it? It's Idiger Johnson picking the team. Next up, one that maybe has slightly less potential, but is definitely going to be a good squad player for us. A 21-year-old French under-21 international. It is Valentin Geffroy, currently injured, but can play on this left-hand side. I want him to be a backup for Charles Vela. We've signed him for £3.8 million, and it is £3.8 million all in, basically. I think he's just got okay attributes, that he's young, that if he improves a little bit, we might make a profit on him. He's a squad player. He's young. It fits what we're trying to do here. He's next up. From Brest is where he came from. Next is another winger, because we did lose some other wingers. Just to show you as well, by the way, we had retirees. Can I just see players that went out on freeze? Is that in here? No. I want to just see. Basically, maybe it was released players the year before. It was Neymar that left. We had these players leave, didn't we? Correa, he's still playing. Did he sign for somebody? He's gone to France for Sochaux, which is a nice signing for them, actually. We did lose Neymar, Baragi, Varane, and Correa, didn't we? So there was plenty of spots to fill in the squad, which is maybe why I did go for so many players and spread the money that we brought in out quite a lot. Next up, after Aguilar, who's going to be a backup as a winger, is going to be Markovic. I don't think he's going to be a backup. I signed him as a backup at left back. I think he might be better. At least the coach here, which is Tajada, who has that 2020 judging player ability and potential, he rates him higher than our other left back, which is Aaron. And he might be starting. We'll see who Idiger Johnson picks, but can play in a couple of positions. He is joined. He's a Serbian left back from TSC Baka Topola in Serbia. £3.2 million. Could go to 5.75. That's cheap for a player that I think is definitely have a higher value. Should develop a little bit too. Lacking consistency. There are a few things that hold him back. Maybe making him cheap. Maybe making him gettable for us. Markovic, though, let's see if he starts as a left back. Antonacci we looked at. Let's just go back to this list here and make sure I don't miss anybody. Svoboda is what I'm going to go for. Tomáš Svoboda from Duisburg in Germany, I think it was, is a Czech Republic young defender, 6'2". He's very young, 17 years old. I've signed him for £1.4 million. Another one that is going to be for the future. He's going to be a third choice, one of our centre-backs. I've put him in the first team squad because I want to have them in and around the squad. I think I've made him available for the under-19s already, right? Yeah, I've made him available for the under-19s, so he should play football for them too. He's coming for, could go to £2.9 million. Antoine Chevalier, another 17-year-old. I've gone there's a lot of young players coming in here. He could play probably as a backup or a third or fourth choice DM, because we play with these DMs here. He is coming from Châteauroux, second team, for 900k. Could go to 1 million. Very cheap. Ligari we looked at earlier. And then finally, Dries Mas, who I don't think has the potential, but I needed a third choice striker behind Good Johnson and behind Carretero. He's 6'5" with good jumping reach and was really cheap. He was on a free transfer, I believe, from a team in Belgium. And I thought, you know what? I think he fits the bill. Got great finishing, which is, I think I found him by doing an attribute search and thought, you know what? We're going to take a chance on him. Dries Mas, I'm going to go for, is the final signing coming in. What do you think of that business? Let me show you how it fits into the squad. If I go through this, I think this is a good way to just visualize it. If we look at the squad planner, I'm really happy with how we've built the squad. I think it's really interesting, especially, let's go through this and hopefully you can let me know what you think of everything that I've managed to do. Goalkeeper, Colon, Ortega, and then a 16-year-old from the youth team is our three options as goalkeepers. I think Ortega still remains a little bit of experience, a really good backup, and he's happy to be the backup, as you can see. Right back, we've got Pozo and Mario Fernandez. Slight problem that might happen here is that I had to tell Fernandez that he's going to be an important player. I don't know how that's going to be managed by Good Johnson. It could potentially be a problem a little bit later down the line. Maybe if Fernandez actually starts playing games, maybe Pozo could go. He is wanted and he's got a massive value. He's wanted by Al Hilal in Saudi Arabia. So maybe there's something there. Look at the potential on Fernandez. I'm not sure, but something to manage or look out for anyway. Right centre-back, Diakabi, Keiki, Daniel Sanchez. These are our right-footed defenders. Diakabi, I think, is still easily good enough to play in this team. I've kept hold of Keiki because his value's plummeted. And remember, we had that bid of like £11 million from Bristol City. We're not going to get that anymore. He's still wanted on a loan from Tenerife, but I'm going to keep hold of him. Maybe we could do with one more right centre-back. potentially, possibly, but I think I'm going to go with Diakabi, even with his advancing years at 31 years old. Left centre-back, Luis Perez. This is the plan anyway. Hopefully, he does get the starts. He's got so much potential. He is a wonder kid. Look at the value on him here. Antonacci, I showed you. And then Svoboda, the youngster, 17-year-old in there. We've got important player, squad player, future prospect. It fits. It's lovely. I've tried to actually build the squad this summer, and I've had so much fun doing it. The rest, let's go through to left-back. Markovic, I've put him in as the starter here because I've got a feeling because of... Oh, maybe not. Actually, who's this in the opinion of? Because in the opinion of Tajada, Markovic was first choice. We'll see who plays. Is it going to be Aaron or Markovic? If it is the other way around, we've got regular starter and squad player, so it kind of fits anyway. But two good left backs. There probably is, to be honest, because we've had some youngsters coming through. There probably is a decent left back in the under-19s anyway. A player like, let's just guess at Flavio Gomez. He looks like he could do a job as well. Let's put a third one in. He's 17. He's got a cool name as well, so he's going to be there. Right. Defensive midfield, Lavia and Berkovic, who was here last year. Two really good options. Left defensive midfielder, we've got Moretti. We've got Hedwig Koch, who is looking, by the way, like he could be brilliant in the future. Still not quite first team worthy yet, but I think there's three good defensive mids there. And then potentially Chevalier, who could come in the future too. So we've got enough players there. We're banking on the youth a little bit. If we do have injuries, maybe we'll struggle, but we've got some really good youth players. So is it just good to give them game time? Maybe it is. Up into the attacking positions now. You can see why I've signed so many youngsters in these winger positions because we needed loads. We didn't have any. We've got Alejandro as the first choice, I think. He's on loan again for another season from PSG. Aguilar, who I showed you, looks like he could be decent in the future, squad player. And then Eric, who I've kept in the first team squad, is a breakthrough prospect. Not sure he's ever going to amount to too much, but he came through. I think he's been here forever. He came through at Barca, actually. He's been here a while, though, is Eric. He's going to be third choice. Left side, we're going to have Vela, Geffroy, and then Robin Bertrand, who we signed at the end of last season. He's only 16, but look at the value on him. He could potentially be really good in the future. So good options there. Vela, both of them injured at the moment, so I'm going to have to work out what I do for this. Well, Idiger Johnson's going to have to work out what he does for this first game, but we should have enough to cover. The one position, I mentioned it earlier, the one position that we might need more cover for is central attacking midfield. Nuno Freitas is our only real natural one in there, but we've got Aguilar who could play in there. We have got Vela who could come and play in there. So it's just that I'm using them in other places too. Maybe one more as an attacking midfielder before the end of the window, if we can find one, is maybe the thing to do. Freitas, by the way, I gave him a face because I think he's going to be... Look how good he is already, to be honest. He might even be our best player at some point. 21 and he's getting better every single season too. Then up front, Carretero, Johnson, and Dries Mace. Slightly long-winded, but I feel like it gives you a really good insight into what this squad looks like at the moment. You put it onto the pitch, it's something a little bit like this. Maybe swap these over. Something a little bit like this anyway, if we were going to go full strength. I think it's a really exciting, fun, young team. If I actually go to this page here, you can see just how young this team is. 21. Couple of experience, 29, 31, 20, 21, 24, 25, 21, 21, 21, 21. This 21 age group should hopefully develop together. A golden generation that we can keep at the club and improve on through the next few seasons into their primes. What a team we could become if they do develop as they should do. Because if we look at any of them, really, their potential, they should have potential to grow and improve too. That's the plan for them anyway. I think it's a really good position we've got ourselves into. Hopefully it pays off with a decent Champions League qualification this year. That's the plan anyway. That's where we're at. Let me know what you think of the transfer business. I think we've done a good job. In the future, I think we maybe need one more attacking midfielder. Maybe we could look to move on players like Keiki and bring somebody in. Maybe Aaron could move on. We bring another left back in. These older players and just try and keep recycling and recycling. That's the plan anyway. Hopefully you don't mind this slightly long-winded chat about these things. I did want to just give you a full rundown of everything that I've been trying to do. Some of you asked for slightly more explanation for the reasons behind things, so that's what I'm trying to do here. Also, somebody did ask, and I just want to mention it now, maybe a little bit more talk about how we're trying to improve the club as a whole. I should say, like the DOF might do. I have recently asked the board to improve the training facilities, and they did say yes. So we are improving, sorry, not the training facilities, I should say, the youth facilities. They're spending £10 million to improve the youth facilities. So hopefully that means we get some more good players through our youth intakes as well. It fits with what we're trying to do. So nice one to Turkey Al Sheikh as well for doing that and paying for that. I asked for funds to sign a player. I don't know which player this was, but apparently I just asked him to sign somebody and they said no. That's another thing. Anyway, let's, I suppose, get ourselves into this first game, which is tonight at 8 o'clock against Malaga. We'll see the team that Johnson picks, who's, by the way, flip-flop back to vertical tiki-taka. I've just checked, and he's now that's now his preferred tactical style. So we'll keep changing with that. That's why I've changed it on here. Let's get ourselves into this Malaga game and see if all of this planning and scheming is going to pay off. Are we going to be competitive this season? I'll see you at match day. Okay, here we go into this game then, and I've just seen that Real Madrid have won 7-0 against Tenerife in the first game of the season, so they're going to be fun to come up against this year, aren't they? I also remembered, by the way, as we just click through, watching man is ready to attend, I remember that I said I would show you my recruitment focuses and the way that I set up my filters and things in player searches to find some of these wonder kid type players. Not all of them are wonder kids, they're just good young players, and I thought that maybe we'd finish our video today by having a look for an attacking midfielder. We can use the filters to see, can we find anybody that we might go for with this remaining 9 or so million. If we can, we'll go for it, and that's the way to show you what I've been doing to find some of these players. There's the 11. It is not in the right positions because Lavia's not going to play behind the striker, but let's find out what Idiger Johnson, there he is, look, on the side there. We're in our nice, yeah, is that us? Yeah, we're in our nice sort of cyan coloured kit there. There's the team. Let me pause it and go through it. There's some interesting calls here. There were some injury issues. So Berkovic has got the nod in midfield alongside Lavia. That's because Moretti was struggling, as well as... who was the other one that was struggling here? I can't remember, but he was struggling. We've got Fernandez starting left back, which is really interesting because he's a right back. It was Pozo or Fernandez. I was wondering if Markovic was going to play here, but he's gone for Fernandez. Colon starts Pozo. Diakabi. Perez is playing as the central defender then. This is good. This is what I wanted. It is Alejandro, Freitas, Vela and Carretero. That is first choice in terms of our front four then. Interesting call with Fernandez, who is definitely... he's definitely right-footed. He's got a fairly strong left foot, can play as a left back, so maybe that's what we're doing. Maybe he's using it inverted. We'll have to see. We're underway though. Can we get ourselves a win? How will Colon do on his debut? How will Lavia do on his debut too? Let's keep an eye on it. Hopefully we get some highlights. 15 minutes in, we do. Carretero on the free kick. Headed away, but not completely. Roberto clears. Our last couple of live comps haven't gone too well. That's a great ball. Vela. Can he put it in? He goes. What a finish. Charles Vela, who I've also given a face, by the way. You've just seen it there. Smashes home one of our wonder kid wingers on his left foot. That's a fantastic finish. Carretero, Chavez Carretero from here, look. Watch this pass from him as he picks it up. Boots it left-footed into Vela, who just cuts inside like a prime Iron Robin. It's a great finish into the roof of the net. 1-0 to us then. It's a perfect start. I should mention as well that the season preview said that we should finish 4th in the league, which is, I mean, scary. It's a lot of pressure, isn't it? But they obviously rate some of the signings that we've made for the season preview to put us there. We are hopefully going to mix it with some of the big boys this year. We need to win games like this one against Malaga if we're going to do that. And so far, so good. One highlight apiece, but we've scored from our one. Here is Malaga on the ball, though. Semenyo to Algobia. Don't like the way that they've picked up this ball. Now they're going to have, I think, a highlight. Semenyo down the left. Defending to do for Pozo. Doesn't do it. It's off the line. We got lucky there. Or was it a really good save from Colon? You could say that was good goalkeeping, couldn't you? He's on to a 6.9 as well. So I think, do you know what? I'm going to give myself credit for that. That's the type of thing we can expect by signing a really good goalkeeper. I really hope he doesn't look really bad. Do you remember that Costa mistake in the Champions League final? If we start to see things like that from Colon, I'm panicking. I don't get nervous, but now you know, I'm starting to worry a little bit. Freitas into Pozo. Down the right-hand side, it's going to be cleared, I think. Looked like a good attack, but Cobalt is going to carry it away. Semenyo. He looks maybe like their brightest player, hasn't he, as we move into this second half here. Football from them. There's not a lot of pressure on the ball. Are we playing a tiki-taka style? I don't think it feels like Gegenpress anymore. And we are playing some nice football, so I think it is more tiki-taka rather than Gegenpress. Otherwise, I think we see a lot more pressure on the ball here as Malaga have it. Ball over the top. Roberto's in behind. He scores. Is he onside? There's going to be a VAR check. They're appealing for it. It could be 1-1. It is 1-1. They've just sprung the defence there. It's a really good ball from Garrido. No, Algobia. He runs in behind Diakabi. It's a good, well-timed run. And then the finish, I'm going to give Colon no chance with that one. Even though it was kind of down the middle, wasn't it? But we're back to square one. It's 1-1. And we have work to do if we're going to win this game. An away game. Would I take a draw? Maybe. Alejandro's not been great. 6.3. Will we see him replaced? We've had No changes yet from Idiger Johnson. There's the first, and it is Alejandro off. And Aguiar is on. A debut for him, one of our signings in the summer. Can he make an impact? Vela keeps the ball. Berkovic. Carretero, we've not seen a lot of him. Goes down. Referee. No penalty given. By the way, I just remembered that I made the new captain of the club is Miretti. Fabio Miretti in the midfield. Vice captain is Nuno Freitas because Samu, I think, was the captain and we sold him. So I did need to change that one as well. Pozo. Lavia. Given away from Romeo Lavia on his debut. Given back to us though. Perez with the interception. Vela. Fernandez from this left-hand side. On his left foot. Freitas. Can he find Carretero in the middle? No, he goes to Fernandez. Berkovic. This is good football. Berkovic. Aguilar. He has come off the bench and scored. I said it when he came on. It's his debut. And one of our signings as a backup, a young player, has put it in the back of the net with 10 to play. It's good football from us. Fernandez on his debut as well with the assist here, wasn't it? It goes back to him and I think he drills it across. It's not a very powerful finish, but it's a well-placed finish. 2-1. It looks like we should, if we are just sensible with it, get ourselves 3 points here. Vela corner. Diakabi. Fernandez could hit this. Could make sure he holds onto the ball. Berkovic. He does hit it just wide. That was a good hit from him on that right-hand side there. He's hopefully going to get a bit more football this year as well. He was being held back by players like Samu and Shoughton, who was coming off the bench all the time. Berkovic, one of our good players with good potential. Diakabi's won that. Carretero. Chavez Carretero to put the icing on the cake. Does! On his right foot. Good finish from our wonder boy up front. Our star boy. Chavez Carretero, the Mexican. Gunsman is what we maybe would call him. Diakabi boots it forward. I'm not even sure if that's a pass. Carretero does great though. He makes it. Turns it into a good chance. It's too strong for the keeper, Vol, who can only divert it into the back of the net. With 3-1 up, we should now get ourselves the 3 points. There is a few minutes to go. Let's just make sure. But it's been a good performance, especially coming back. Good character after being pegged back to 1-1 away from home. I think last year we might have drawn this game. It looks like we are going to win it. We might give away a penalty. No, they've hit the post, I think. Or was it a save? I think they hit the post. They're still on the attack. Colon's got it now, though. Nice. Into his arms. Those safe American arms. Weird. Final whistle, please, to get me out of that weird comment I just made. There we go. Final whistle. We do win the game. 3-1. Confident from us. I wish this would show them in their right positions. But maybe it is. Actually, he's gone really rogue with the end of the game there because Diakabi's gone into midfield. Antonacci's come on to make his debut. Markovic actually has gone to play left wing. Look, the left back can play left wing, but that is actually where they are playing. I was going to say I thought they'd messed up the graphic, but no. Romeo Lavia was playing as an attacking midfielder in behind the strikers there. So there you go. Anyway, we've got ourselves a win. We'll finish up there. We'll get ourselves back from our little one-day holiday, and I'll show you the recruitment focuses and the way that I've been trying to find these players. And hopefully we'll find ourselves a good attacking midfielder, a good new backup number 10. Let's go and have a look. Okay, just to finish up then, as so many of you have been asking about how I'm actually identifying these players that we've been trying to sign. We've signed quite a few really good young players now over the course of this save, haven't we? New gen players especially. And I wanted to show you my process for that. And hopefully we can use that process to find an attacking midfielder. So first of all, I've just gone to my scouting screen here because this is where I start things off. And if we go across to my recruitment focuses, because these are really, really useful, and I can just show you, generally, I'm just constantly sending scouts out all over the place, looking for players that are between the ages of 15 and 21. And then what I do is if they pop up on here and they've got a decent recommendation, I can have a look at them, like this player here called GB, who is a 23-year-old Brazilian. Maybe not the best example. Let's go down to my Wonder Kids. Let's go down to this one here, because these are Brazilian, decent-looking players, and we've got a really good recommendation on this too, called Thiago Rabucas. On this recruitment focus, I've simply sent them to South America, which is one of the regions on here. I've picked the scout that goes there, and I've asked them for players. Can I filter? Can I change it on? Can I show you on here? I can. Players between 15 and 19 that have a really good potential ability. They have a minimum potential ability of 3.5 stars, according to my scout here, which is Lorenzo Faris, and they can play in this system here. If I go to it, you can see that we've been told that Thiago Rabucas, who's a 19-year-old midfielder on loan from Gladbach, I mean, he's fairly gettable actually at £12 million. Really good centre-back with good jumping reach and really good attributes in his physicals here. Could be a really good player, and he's going to be available for what? Around about £10 million, which is kind of the profile of player that we're looking for. He's one of them. You could see us signing him, right, with his 4-star potential here that could be 5-star potential. The one thing with him here is he is Brazilian, so I probably ignored him when I've been looking because he hasn't actually got that dual citizenship, so he would be a non-EU player for us. So I've ignored that. This is my main way, just going through. You can see how many I've got going. We've got Wonder Kids here, where I should be finding some players, hopefully, if any of these look really good. Portugal, I've just sent these ones out to hopefully find some people. Spanish First Division. I also, on the generic ones that were already set up, I go to my filters and I just filter them by young players, so that the only players that I'm seeing are ones of a younger age, because they're going to be cheaper, and actually that's what I'm looking for with the strategy that we've got going on here. So these are just them there. If I just talk you through how I might set it up, because I know that a lot of you were asking, is I'd go to do a new recruitment focus, any position from the tactic, because I'm not being specific. If you want a specific position, obviously check that here. Go to your transfers and loans, because I don't mind finding a good loan player, and I just move my minimum current ability right down, because I don't mind if they're not very good now, as long as they have the potential. Usually they're more cheap anyway if you have that, and about 3.5 stars is good for this one, for the minimum potential ability. Let's get this age down to around about 20. Whatever your new gen age is, actually depends how many years into the future you are. I think I've got up to 22-year-olds now are still new gens. 23-year-olds I think then are when the real players start to come back in, and I usually put this as ongoing because I want this just to continue. You might want to go and select where they go to, so that you can have different scouts going off to different places. I think you find more people if you do that, specifically going to places like Brazil, Europe as well, obviously, etc, etc. Let's send them randomly to Asia. Let's go to, can I just do a continent of Asia? Let's send them there. Let's see if these find any on this. Make it ongoing. If you want to select your scout because you've got better scouts, my better scouts are the ones down here. If you don't do assign any scouts, you can see these are the scouts that I've brought in myself. Slowly but surely I'm trying to improve my scouting team. I might send here João Luis Afonso off to this place here. He can continue to go and do this. Hopefully find me some good Asian players who are Wonder Kids. Will it find them immediately? I don't think they do. Also, something that is probably a good thing to do is just rename this of where they've gone to, so that you can keep track of it. There's no near matches, which can come up if they've come up in any other searches, but hopefully he finds some, and that's what I've been doing to find the players. The beauty of it is that when I find them, when they do pop up in here, I can then, in fact, a good way to do this would be to make sure I filter this one down. When they do pop up, like Julio Silva, who did come up in an episode recently, we tried to sign him, in fact, as a backup or as our new right back. He ended up going to AZ Alkmaar, rejected us for £7 million. What a player we would have got for £7 million, exactly using this system here. He is, I'm actually really, really upset that we didn't get him. Is he dual nationality? He's not. Okay, so we would have been a non-EU player anyway, so maybe that we can console ourselves with that. But what a player he would have been for 7 million. And the one thing that I do actually want to make sure that I'm considering as well is I don't use attribute masking, so that I can actually click on the player and see how good they are. If you are playing with attribute masking on, you are going to need to scout the player first before you can see how good they are. That is the beauty of not using attribute masking, which I just think is a bit of a discussion point. I think is much better for content. For YouTube videos, it's just more fun. If you are challenging yourself in your own personal saves, it's probably better to use attribute masking. I use it in my own personal saves. For content saves like this one, way better if you can go and look at players and compare them and things. So many more talking points. So that's why I don't personally. But there's that. The other thing that I've been doing, because I'm not using attribute masking, is simply going through into my filters here and looking for players simply by their attributes. If I'm looking for a centre back, as I was there, I might go to an attacking midfielder now, which is what we're going for. Let's look at, let's just say, an attacking midfielder on support. We've got our attributes. Let's just scale these down slightly, maybe match to about 10 of them. If any players are popping up here, they're between the ages of 17 and 23. These players are probably going to be quite good, aren't they? And I can go and scout them and find out if they're going to be cheap. A thing that you might do is put, and something I've got here ready to go, look, is you can put their transfer value so that it keeps the price low, so you can maybe get some bargains, which is what I'm looking for. And the other thing that I've made sure I've done for this save is I put the EU national is that they are an EU national, because I don't want to have to use up one of those non-EU slots. Is there a player here that's really good and really cheap? They've got good attributes, these players. 21-year-old, this 20-year-old, Trezor Nazarba. Let's have a look at him. Don't think he looks too amazing. Might be worth a scout, though. I don't think he's going to be our guy here, but let's scout him for a week and just see. Let's move this down actually to slightly younger and put these a little bit lower, because I'm looking here for potential, really, aren't I? Any of these players in here that might be quite cheap. He looks quite cheap. He plays in centre mid and in just behind the strikers. This guy here is 500k. Mark Scott. Does he look any good? I mean, he looks like he could be quite good. And then usually what I do is give them a scout, and then when we get the scout report back, we can see, do our scouts rate him, and you can see their potential a little bit there. Mark Scott looks quite good. This Stellato looks like a decent player as well, doesn't he? On loan from Empoli. I think he's definitely worth a scout as well. He's on loan, so we might not be able to get him immediately, but I think you can kind of get an idea of what my system has been. I've put on here as well the minimum fee releases and some of my favorite attributes to look for, like pace and jumping reach, because I think they're usually just quite important depending on the position. Maybe not so much for an attacking midfielder for jumping reach, but for a centre back, for example, I would look for that in there too. You can customize this by right clicking on it. That's my system. Hopefully that's helpful at the end of today's video and answers a few of the questions that I was getting quite a lot of previously in episodes. I think we'll leave it there for today. If you've enjoyed this, please do leave a like on the video. Let's set a like target. I don't think we've done that in a while. Can we get 500 likes? So if you've not liked it, there you go. Maybe you can help us to hit our like target. And most importantly, well, not most importantly, but most importantly, have a lovely rest of the day, but also subscribe to the channel. Thank you very much for watching. I'll see you next time as we continue this season. I'm going to go play a load more games. Well, I'm going to watch Idager Johnson play a load more games. Check in a few games time for Thursday's episode. Thank you for watching today. Have a lovely rest of your day. I'll catch you next time. Bye-bye. Did a two-handed salute at the end there. Bye-bye. Weird. Sorry.